Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be dispelling, is that the word? Dispelling, debunking. I'm going to be talking about the myths that people have about bottom surgery, or the myths that people believe about bottom surgery. I feel like there are so many misconceptions about what bottom surgery means for trans women, and I'm just going to be like going through them all and, you know, telling you guys the reality of it. I had it in late July of 2016, so it's been a little bit over 4 years. And yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of what you can expect when you go through the surgery. I post videos every single Thursday here on my channel. I'm trying to start posting twice a week as well, so keep your eye out. You might see a video from me on a Monday sometime, maybe next week, who knows? But yeah, if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. And with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. So just a quick little disclaimer before I start this video. I am going to be talking about some of these sexual functions of, you know, bottom surgery. I will also be talking about other anatomical functions as well, but I just want to give that little disclaimer. This is for educational purposes, but if that does make you uncomfortable, go ahead and click off now. Bye, bitch. So I wrote down about 10 myths that I'm going to be talking about in this video. Some of the myths kind of go hand in hand, so I don't know if they're going to be exactly 10 myths or if I'm just going to like pile some of them into one. So it's around 10, okay? It's around 10. The first myth, and one that I feel like is one of the most common myths that people believe, is that once you have bottom surgery, you're not going to feel anything down there, or that you are giving up any sexual sensation or any sexual function when you decide to have this surgery. In my experience, that has not been the case at all. If you go to the right surgeon, if you go to somebody that is experienced with this surgery, you're not going to be losing any sexual pleasure or any sexual functions at all. Obviously, the way that you feel pleasure and stuff like that is going to change, but it's not like you're just going to lose all sensation down there. At least that's something that I didn't experience, and something that, you know, all the people that went to my surgeon did not experience. And I don't think I've really even heard of any people that have had surgery with any like reputable with any good surgeon. I don't think I've heard of anybody experiencing, you know, total sensation loss. The second myth that I'm going to talk about today, and like I said, it kind of goes hand in hand, but this is the belief that after surgery, everything down there is going to feel extremely fake or extremely foreign to both you and your partner. And honestly, in my experience, this is somewhat true. Right after surgery, and even for a couple of years after surgery, everything down there feels very, very foreign. I won't say that it feels like it's not part of your body, but it definitely feels a little strange, you know? Everything is moved around, everything is in new places, and your body has to kind of remap where everything is located. And for me, it was such an intense surgery that I really didn't want to like have anything going on down there. I didn't want to have anybody down there for a long time after surgery, just because I wanted to make sure that I was, you know, gonna be okay. But to speak to the myth, I would say that fake feeling or the foreign feeling that you experience right after surgery goes away within the first couple of years. It might even go away sooner if you are, you know, more actively trying to figure stuff out down there. But in terms of sensation for your partner, I don't think that it ever felt foreign or fake to the people that I was with. So yeah, that's just not true. The third myth, or the third misconception that I feel like is super, super common again, is the belief that once you have bottom surgery, you won't be able to self-lubricate the same way that a cisgender woman would. The reality of this myth is that it varies a lot between people, and it varies a lot between the type of surgery that you have done. There are a few different ways that this surgery can be done. They can use parts of like internal organs, or sometimes they just use, you know, the external tissues that you have going on down there, which is the version that I had. And the procedure that I had done, the way that my surgeon did it, he said that there would be about a 50% chance that I would be able to self-lubricate after surgery. Not to like give too much information out or anything, but I actually can self-lubricate. Most of the time it is enough for, you know, I can't even fucking see. Most of the time it is enough lubrication for penetration, but sometimes, you know, you have to add a little bit of a synthetic lubricant in, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna move on. This is TMI. So the next myth, again, all of these kind of run into each other, but I do want to make them as clear as possible. The next myth that I'm going to be talking about today is that you cannot have penetrative sex. Again, this kind of depends on what surgery you have done. For me, I had, you know, full depth vaginoplasty, so I had, you know, they gave me as much depth as they could, but there are other procedures such as no depth or, you know, limited depth vaginoplasty, in which they don't actually use all of the tissue and create as long of a vaginal canal. They do this for a few reasons. If you're not going to be having I can't say it. If you're not going to be doing that kind of stuff, there wouldn't really be a point to doing all of that, because it is a lot harder of a recovery and there is a lot more aftercare that you have to do. So if you're not going to be using those parts, there's not really any point to doing it. The next myth is that once you have bottom surgery, you won't be able to finish, or you won't be able to have an orgasm. Again, this one is not true. Obviously, if you go to a, you know, like a bad surgeon and they botch you, that might happen to you. You might lose some sensation and stuff down there. But with most surgeons, with most good, you know, experienced surgeons, you're not going to be losing any type of sensation or any type of ability to orgasm. This is so like too much. Like, this is just not the type of person that I am. I don't like to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's important. I know that y'all are curious. So the version that I had done allows me to get there 2 different ways, the same ways that, you know, cisgender women would get there. Both of them work great. The next myth, and I kind of touched on this one a little bit in my last video, and it is that, you know, the area that you have surgery will never heal, and it's just like an open wound or an open gash that you have to dilate to keep open. That is not at all accurate, not at all true, and honestly sounds super, super painful. Like, thank God that is not true. So right after you have surgery, you do have to dilate several times a day. You have to do it kind of a lot for the first year or 2 after surgery, and I feel like that's kind of where this myth originates, is people think that just because you have to dilate, it's like a wound, and it's not actually like healthy tissue lined canal. So the next myth I kind of wish was true, and this is the myth that after you have bottom surgeries you will get periods. So when they're doing the surgery, they're not creating, you know, a uterus or any of the stuff that connects the vaginal canal to the uterus, so you can't get pregnant. You can't, unless someday, you know, you have a uterus transplant and like all that kind of stuff. Maybe you can, but you know, with the procedure that I had done and with the most common procedures, you can't. And for the same reasons you can't get pregnant either, which is so heartbreaking to me. Like, if you know a trans woman, don't be like, you're so lucky you never get periods. Like, what I would give to get periods, like what I would do to be able to, you know, house my own offspring in my body. That sounds so weird, but like what I would do to get pregnant, girl. Like, shut the fuck up. So moving on to the next one, myth number 8 is that it doesn't look real. That, you know, it just, you know, doesn't look real. That's pretty much it. Again, this one kind of depends on where you go to. If you go to a bad surgeon and they kind of like mess it up and do whatever, it might not look real. But I mean, in my experience, everything looks totally normal. Everything looks totally like real. I've showed boys, I've showed girls. Both of them said that it looks totally natural, totally like cisgender, you could say. I have 2 more myths that I want to talk about for you guys. So the first one is that once you have bottom surgery, it will completely eliminate your libido. I did talk in a video a while back about my struggles with libido after I had bottom surgery, and what happened after bottom surgery is I no longer had any testosterone in my body, so my libido dropped tremendously. So I guess you could say there is some truth to this myth, but the only reason that my libido dropped was because I was on too low of a dose of estrogen. Once I got my hormones in check and I got, you know, the right dosages and everything like that, my libido came back full force. And now I feel like my libido is almost higher than it was before surgery, just because of the fact that I'm so much more comfortable with myself and I am so much more like in tune with my body, you could say. All right, you guys, we have made it to the last myth. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much for watching. The last myth that I'm going to talk about today is the belief that you will regret your sexual reassignment surgery, that transitioning doesn't even help a person, and that the suicide rates are still just as high after surgery as they are before surgery. And you know, when you look at the statistics, it does look that way, but it's not because people are having surgery. It's because of the way that they are treated in society. Yes, I might feel more in my own skin. I might feel more confident, whatever. Just because I'm happy with myself now doesn't mean that the world is happy with me, and it doesn't mean that I feel accepted in this world. The percentage of people that regret having sexual reassignment surgery is so minuscule that it's not even like a relevant percentage of people. And most of the time when people do regret their surgeries, it's not because they realize that they're not transgender or whatever. It's because the surgery didn't come out the way they wanted it to, or they didn't get the results that they expected. However, all that being said, I do want to make it clear that having bottom surgery is not like a one-stop fix for all of your problems. I feel like I might have treated my transition kind of like that for a long time. I thought in my head that, you know, once I get through my transition, once I get through this next surgery, once I get through this next procedure, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel complete, then everything will be good. But that's really not true. I've had 6 or 7 transition-related surgeries at this point. I honestly do not even remember the exact number. I'm more confident now than I have been in my entire life. I feel better than I have in my entire life, but I'm still depressed. There are still issues that, you know, transition did not address that are still there. But just because I'm still depressed now, or I'm still anxious now, or whatever, doesn't mean that I regret having surgery. There were some moments along the way where healing was really, really hard for me, and I did think to myself, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I'm not strong enough to get through this. I had surgery when I was 19 years old. I feel like anybody going through any surgery would have those feelings at that time. And now that I'm through the healing process and I've fully come out on the other side, I can tell you 100% I do not regret anything. I am so happy with the surgeries that I've had done. And that's just that. Anyways, you guys, that is all the myths that I wanted to address today. I'm sure that there are many, many more that I've missed. So feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond to them and clear them up if I can. If you guys like this video, if you learned something, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel a lot. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Like I said, I post videos every single Thursday, but I'm trying to get up to twice a week. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple days. Bye, guys.